All right, so you're aiming high this time. Aviation Surveillance and Code Coordination Manager. I mean, that's not just a job, that's a career with a view. And to help you nail that interview, we're going deep into RoleCatcher's insights. It's like your pre-flight briefing.
Yeah, it's about making sure you're not just ready for takeoff, but for that whole journey from navigating those first interview questions to plotting your career path in this really interesting field.
I like that. So we've got career guides here. We've got sample interview questions, even info on how RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge. But before we get to the interview, what does an aviation surveillance and code coordination manager actually do?
Well, just imagine you're the conductor of an orchestra,
Right.
but instead of instruments, you're harmonizing this whole network of surveillance systems, radars, transponders, all that. Your mission is to make sure they're playing in sync, creating this safe and efficient airspace.
That's a powerful image. But it can't just be about staring at screens, right? There's got to
Yeah.
be a human element.
Oh, absolutely. You're coordinating with a whole bunch of people, air traffic controllers, surveillance technicians, government agencies, even law enforcement. Strong communication and collaboration, those are key. You're the central hub keeping everyone informed and making sure those systems are working together seamlessly, maintaining that safety and compliance.
Okay, so high stakes, high tech juggling act, no pressure. But RoleCatcher has our back with those sample interview questions. So let's dive into those. The first one is, can you tell me about your experience in aviation surveillance and code coordination? Seems straightforward, but it's your chance to really grab their attention.
Yeah, it's all about showing the relevance of what you've done, not just listing job titles. Think impact. Did you implement a new safety protocol that cut down airspace incidents? Did you lead a team that fixed a really complex radar system issue? Those are the stories that'll make you stand out.
So instead of saying, I manage a team of technicians, you'd say something like, I led the team that integrated a new transponder system and it increased tracking accuracy by 10%.
Exactly. Quantify your achievements when you can numbers. They really speak volumes in aviation where precision is so important. And don't be shy about those technical skills, whether it's expertise in specific systems or really knowing those airspace regulations.
Makes sense now. I bet a common follow-up is, can you give me a specific example of a time you had to troubleshoot a surveillance system issue? They want to see you in action, right?
Absolutely. Have a good story ready to go, one that
Wow.
shows off your analytical skills and how you think on your feet. It's not just about finding the problem, it's about explaining those steps you took to figure it out, what solutions you put in place, and what good outcome you achieved.
So if I fixed a radar interference issue causing false readings, I'd walk them through how I found the source of the interference,
hmm
the steps I took to reduce it, and how that kept the airspace safe.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget to mention working with other teams or stakeholders. It shows you can work in that complex environment where teamwork is essential.
Got it. Okay, next question. This one's about the rules of the game. How do you ensure compliance with federal regulations related to aviation surveillance and code coordination? This feels a bit daunting. I'm guessing it's more about showing, the rules and your approach to compliance rather than reciting the whole rule book.
You got it. It's about showing you really understand the regulations, how to interpret them, and how to use them in real life. Prove you're not just aware of the rules, but you've mastered them.
So instead of saying I follow all FAA regulations, I might mention specific regulations like data security or equipment maintenance and how I made them part of standard procedures.
Exactly. Show them you've taken a proactive and thorough approach to compliance. That's key.
Okay, I'm getting this. Now about follow-up questions. What would I say if they asked? What steps would you take if you found a potential compliance issue?
That's where you really shine as a problem solver, and a leader lay out a clear plan of action, contain the issue right away, report it to the right people, investigate to find the root cause, and put things in place to stop it from happening again.
I'd also want to mention working with other departments or agencies,
Right.
right? Just to show I understand the bigger picture
Yeah.
and can navigate those complex structures.
Exactly. You're not just following the rules, you're a proactive leader, taking charge of compliance and making sure everything is safe and runs smoothly. Speaking of leadership, let's see how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a personalized advantage in your interview prep.
Oh, this sounds interesting.
Yeah.
How does AI actually help with something as human as an interview?
So picture this. You practice your answers to those common questions, you record yourself, and then RoleCatcher's AI analyzes your video. It gives you feedback on your delivery, your tone, even your body language. It's like having a personal coach, but powered by tech.
That's amazing. So it's tailoring your answers to the specific role and company you're going for.
Yeah, RoleCatcher's AI digs into that job description, analyzes the keywords, and helps you highlight the skills and experience that matter most for that role. You're speaking their language and showing them what you bring to the table.
That's incredible. All right, before we hit more interview questions, let's talk career paths. RoleCatcher's Career Guide gives some good advice on breaking into this field and where you can go from there.
It really pushes hands-on experience even at the entry-level internships at airports, air traffic control centers. Those kinds of places can give you a solid base of practical skills and make your resume stand out.
So even if I don't have years of experience as a manager, showing those early internships can help.
Oh, for sure. It shows you take initiative, you're passionate about this field, and you're ready to learn. And once you're in the guide, shows you different ways to move up. You could specialize in cutting edge stuff like drone surveillance or facial recognition, or even go into management where you're leading teams and shaping the future of aviation security.
So lots of room to grow and specialize. That's encouraging. Okay, I'm ready for more of those interview questions. What's next?
Let's look at those curveball questions, the ones that really test your problem solving and leadership skills. The tell me about a time you faced a difficult challenge kind of questions, ready to dive in.
Bring it on. Let's see what RoleCatcher has for us.
Okay, so let's tackle a question that often throws people off. What are some challenges you have faced in aviation surveillance and code coordination? It might feel like a trap, but it's actually a chance to shine.
I can see how it could be unnerving. It's like they want you to talk about your mistakes, but you're saying we can spin this to our advantage.
Exactly. Every challenge you face is a chance to learn and grow. They don't want to hear about perfection. They want to see how you handle setbacks, how you solve problems and bounce back.
Okay, so how do we talk about this without sounding like we're making excuses?
Pick a challenge that was really tough. Something where the solution wasn't obvious right away. Maybe a big system outage during a busy travel time or some crazy weather that messed with surveillance coverage.
Right. It's not about the negative. It's about showing how we handled a tough situation and came out stronger.
Yeah, exactly. You describe the situation, but then focus on what you did. Highlight your analytical skills, your creativity, how you work under pressure. Did you have to think outside the box to find a workaround? Did you team up with others to find a solution?
And I had to make a tough call like grounding a flight because of safety. I'd want to explain why and make it clear that safety was always my top priority.
Exactly, and be ready for that follow-up. What did you learn from this experience? It's where you show self-awareness and that you're always learning and improving. Did the challenge show you a skill you needed to work on? Did it change how you look at risk management?
God, even a tough experience can be a learning opportunity. Okay, what else should we prep for?
Let's look at a question that tests if you're staying ahead of the curve. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and best practices related to aviation surveillance and code coordination? Here you show them you're always learning.
So it's got to be more than just saying, I read industry magazines. How can I show I'm really engaged in professional development?
Think about those professional organizations, the Air Traffic Control Association, the International Civil Aviation Organization mentioning you're a member, or that you go to their events shows dedication.
And going to conferences or webinars shows I'm willing to invest my time to stay current.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could even mention specific publications you follow, like the Journal of Air Traffic Control or websites like Eurocontrols.
What about internal training programs or mentoring? Would those be good to mention?
Absolutely. If you've taken the lead to share your knowledge or create training materials, that's a huge, plus it shows leadership and that you want the whole team to be experts.
Okay, so it's not just what I know. It's about showing that I'm proactive and passionate about growing professionally now. How can RoleCatcher's AI help me make my answers even better?
Imagine having an AI that knows about industry trends and best practices and then gives you advice for your interview prep based on the specific job you want. That's what RoleCatcher does.
Wow, so it's not just general advice, it's giving me relevant information that's specific to what that employer wants.
Yeah, and it's not just content. RoleCatcher's AI can watch your practice videos and give you feedback on how you present yourself and suggest ways to improve based on industry standards.
That's like having a personal interview coach. I'm seeing how powerful AI can be not just for this interview, but for my whole career.
Exactly. And now that we've talked about staying current, let's look at another important part of this job, managing and motivating a team. Are you ready for some leadership questions?
Definitely. I want to see what RoleCatcher says about showing those leadership skills. All right, let's move on from individual skills to something even bigger for a manager leadership. RoleCatcher suggests we tackle this question. How do you manage and motivate a team in this field?
It's a good one. It shows you're not just a tech person, you can inspire and guide others. It's about building a team that works together and takes responsibility for safety.
Yeah, it's not just about giving orders, right? What kind of leadership style should we focus on?
Being real, being yourself. Whether you're more collaborative coach or even more directive, just be genuine and give examples of how your style has worked.
I could talk about setting clear expectations, giving regular feedback, good and bad, and creating chances for my team to learn and grow.
Exactly. And don't forget about a positive work environment. A team that feels valued and respected will go the extra mile.
Makes sense. But conflicts happen, especially in aviation. How does RoleCatcher say we should handle, how do you handle conflicts or disagreements with stakeholders?
It's about showing you can be diplomatic and listen well. Start by saying you respect different opinions even if you don't agree.
So, no being dismissive or confrontational. I'd focus on open communication, really listening to everyone's concerns and finding common ground.
Right. And when it comes to solutions, talk about working together and finding win-win situations when you can. Safety always comes first, though, so make it clear you won't compromise on important rules.
What if they want a specific example, like, tell me about a time you resolved a conflict about surveillance procedures?
Have a story ready that shows your skills in action. Maybe a disagreement between air traffic control and maintenance about a radar problem. Explain how you got them talking, found a solution that worked for everyone, and kept the airspace safe.
Okay, got it. Now for the big question. How do we answer? How do you ensure the safety and security of aviation operations as a surveillance and code coordination manager?
This is where you show them you're the one who keeps the skies safe.
Oh.
Emphasize that safety and security are always top of mind for you.
And I'd back that up with actions, right? Regular risk assessments, strict safety checks, following all the regulations and making sure my team is always thinking about safety.
Yeah, and show them your proactive talk about staying up to date on new threats, technologies, and best practices in aviation security. You're not just reacting to problems, you're trying to prevent them.
Like how I implemented new security protocols because of new threats or using advanced data analysis to find potential problems early on.
Exactly. The more details you give, the better you'll look. And speaking of being prepared, let's go back to how RoleCatcher's AI can help you prepare for these questions.
Right, how can AI help me give specific answers, not just general ones?
RoleCatcher's AI looks at the job description, finds the keywords and skills that matter most to that employer, and then gives you tailored content and tips so you can answer in a way that meets their needs.
So instead of just talking about safety, I'd focus on the specific parts of safety and security that are important to them based on what the AI learned from their job posting.
Exactly. It's about speaking their language and showing them that your skills match what they're looking for. And it goes beyond just content. RoleCatcher's AI can watch your practice videos and tell you how you're doing and help you come across as confident and competent.
That's pretty amazing. So we've covered a lot: technical skills, leadership interview questions, the future of the field. I'm feeling much more ready for this interview.
Great. Remember, show your passion for aviation safety, highlight your skills and experience with real examples, and don't be afraid to ask good questions.
And I'll definitely be using RoleCatcher's AI to make my prep even better.
Awesome. We're excited to see what you do. Good luck with the interview.
Well, that about wraps it up for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to check out the show notes for links to everything we've talked about. Until next time, happy flying!